there, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Modstab, and welcome back to Minecraft. So in today's episode, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do something a little unique by building something modern, okay? I'm normally really into the medieval building style in Minecraft. It's what I would say I'm most proficient at. However, I am doing a Scottish build series. Now, we're going to be doing this for a second first on the channel and a second first for me. I am going to be trying to do all of this in a one chunk loading section, so a 16 by 16 area. So everything within that red square is usable, everything outside is not. Now, I would normally upload Ark on today, however, I can't get on the server. Could have went down, computer could have got shut off, who knows, but the server's not up, so we're not going to play there. So we have, in order of outside blocks used, we're going to have black concrete. Then we're actually going to go ahead and white concrete powder because I like how it's a little more textured. Then we're going to do some jungle planks, and we're going to do some andesite stairs, as well as a stinking birch door, and then a glass pane in my butt is what this video has been. But it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. And on the inside for now, I just have spruce stairs, spruce planks, spruce slabs. Now, I'm not going to decorate the interior of this build. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. But I wanted to try to do the challenge with modern style within a one chunk loading section and with something you could have on your action bar with no exceptions, no exchanges. So this is going to be like not only 2, but 3 entire firsts for me on the channel. So we'll see how it goes. It could go horribly wrong. It could go awesome. But since we're building inside this chunk, what we need to do is figure out what is going to jut out the most and take care of that first. Now, that means we're going to try to utilize this. So we're just going to get a couple placeholders, all right? And then we're going to go to, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a 5 middle. That way it has kind of the centralized option to it. And then what I want to do is we have a 5 gap here starting at the corner of that one chunk. We know for a fact we're going to be using this last chunk here. But this is where things get interesting because I wanted to have a section of this build out of jungle planks. So what we need to do before I can establish jungle planks is figure out how far a section over here is going to jut out. Oops. And how I kind of want that to look, because I'm hoping to put like the staircase kind of in a stairwell, for lack of a better term. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to put that block down because that's going to give us a nice little center. And then we're going to go 3. Actually, let's go ahead and 3. Let's do 4. So we're actually going to go down 6 instead of 7. Do 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then we're going to just bring this out by 2 on this section. And I know this is going to be tight quarters, and we're going to have to really wrap those stairs pretty tightly to get what the desired result. But it is what it be. All right, let me check something actually. So we should be dead even here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm actually going to do is, in efforts to make that less of a tight space, we're going to bring that out so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. And then we're going to go ahead and do 4 on each side instead of 5. So that helped widen the stairwell, but it'll also help us kind of really get the desired effect. So what we want to do here is set a place marker here. It doesn't matter how tall these are for now. We'll get to that later. And since this is going to be protruding out, what we want to do is we want to have the building kind of end at this section, because that's part of the geometrical shape of this like modern style. So that's how we're going to do that. And then what I kind of wanted to do is have like a window all the way up the middle section of each of these pillars, because I think that would look really cool to kind of look on the outside. Now this is where the white concrete powder comes into play because it helps fill in some of the gaps. But first we're going to bring this out so that we're dead even with this, because we know we want that to have a nice little wall. Nice little section to it. And this is actually where we're going to be placing our andesite region, because our stairs are going to be right here just like that. And actually, let's go ahead and get some, oops, not sand, andesite. Let's go ahead and get some, ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Devin didn't think this one over, because I wanted to do this with something that was exclusively on my hotbar. Well, we might have to sacrifice that rule. Or I'm just going to bring these a little closer. That's right. I don't want to sacrifice, I don't want to lose a challenge rule if I don't have to, because we could just build this so that it has a nice white powdered concrete region. Build the andesite up, and then bring this up as well. There we go, we fixed it, we fixed it, we fixed it. Okay, I was just gonna do an andesite texture here just to keep the texturing nice and tight. But this is actually where we're gonna start adding the door. So I'm just gonna do the spruce for now so that we can get the door on there. And then we're actually going to build up with the white here, which is gonna bring in the white from that area. So let's go ahead and I think that's as wide as we wanna go here, maybe. And then the stairwell, we're gonna go up 1, 2, 3. And that should give us 4 tall on the interior. And then 1, whoops. So we're gonna go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're gonna do 9 so that the top floor can be a little bit taller. And then what I'm gonna do here is just replicate this. So we're gonna go a total of 9 tall on each of the corners of this protrusion, okay? Because that's gonna help set up essentially what we're gonna be doing for the rest of the build. Oh my gosh, these tutorials are so difficult. Like, I'm not used to tutorials because I'm very free-flowing. I don't have a design per se. I don't set in mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build this here and it's gonna be this wide. I'm usually just free-flowing. And I just kind of let inspiration happen when inspiration happens, which means sometimes I get something hideous, sometimes I get something amazing. I think this is gonna be a case where we get something absolutely amazing, and I think it'd be really cool to bring in that white here so that all of these in the stairwell are 2 wide windows, so you can see both to the outside but also to the in from outdoors. So maybe, you know, if you weren't building in a restriction of a 16 by 16 area, maybe you could throw like a garden or something like that in there. I think that might look kind of nice. But I do like the idea. Okay, we got a time set day, okay? Time set day. I ain't playing no games. I should just do, I know there's an option to increase the time of the day cycle, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much because we should only have to do it a couple times in this list build, so it is what it be. All right, now that we got the wheel well kind of taken, or the stairwell kind of taken care of, what I do want to do is address this front region. Now this is where things do, once again, get a little more interesting because I want them to come here as well as down this way. Now we're gonna, once again, do a total of 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and bring these up as well. Should be, what is it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we got this bad boy, and we got the nice little, you guys get the idea by now, you know, I don't have to count them all out. Or at least at home, I don't have to count them all out. And then we're gonna bring this one in again, and once again, go up to 9. Now, there's gonna be something interesting that I'm not gonna bring this section up to 9 because we have a nice little surprisey-do for you. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have 1 and 2 tall of the whites, okay? Because this isn't necessarily going to be a flat level house. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I wanna go 5 or? We'll go 6 tall. Okay, so we're gonna go 6 tall with these window panes. So go ahead and feel free to, if you're following along, feel free to pause, but feel free to throw those bad boys up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim it right on the top with that black. We need to thicken this bad boy up. I forgot to bring that one up because now it looks a lot more even, a lot more natural. We're not going to fill it with the top because you'll understand why in a moment. But here we are left at this area. And now we want the interior because it's gonna start here, right? Yeah, we're gonna have the interior here. So what I wanna do, just to make sure we're working with the right amount of space, I'm gonna fill this inside flooring. Feel free to, once again, pause the video here and kind of keep up with me, but I'm gonna get that all taken care of and I will do a jump cut and see you guys once we get the floor taken care of. Alrighty, so we got the floor filled in right here, and you guys can probably see right here that I took a little bit of a time off camera and did something a little crazy. So this back point that we had here for the pinnacle of our house, we have a 2 space, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks because we are also going to create a window here. Now the difference with this one is we're only going 2 tall, and what we did here is instead of 2 tall, we actually went 3 tall. because the interior is going to have something a little unique in this particular section here. And then what we're actually going to do is finish this, trim it all off, because we want mostly solid black in this particular portion. And this is where things get really interesting. I wanted to have a 3-colored kind of, for lack of a better term, 3-colored like house. Yeah, because that's like the most amazing English you've ever heard right there. But I also wanted to have an overhang. And so I thought what would be a really cool idea is having some jungle wood. And so we're going to have a section here. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that's going to create this nice little jut. It's going to come up here, right? And I want that to be too tall because what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to do something like this. We're going to have this area be a section where it's actually going to be full of glass. And now, naturally, you're also going to, you know, throw this bad boy up. And I want this glass to be too tall because I think having too tall glass or window panes in this game just looks so much nicer than single panes. All right, and then you fill that bad boy in, right? So now we're looking at something like this, where our second story is going to kind of be right about here, right? So we got this nice little here, this nice little window. The part that I found that was really hard, when I was trying to think about this, even though once again, I'm kind of free-flowing, how am I going to take this color scheme, right? Because that looks super nice, and it looks really tight, and it looks very geometric, which is very much so a kind of modern style of build, so to speak. How am I going to take this, and how am I going to make this into its own separate room? And I thought about it for a minute. I don't need it to be a room that's completely filled in with this. This is just to create some color texture. And in order to kind of help fill that gap in, I thought, you know what? If we're going to have that same type of protrusion there, how cool would it be to kind of follow some of those color schemes and those ideas and make a protrusion here? Now, this is where I might potentially have to sway from my initial idea of having... You know what? No, we're not. We're not. We're just going to leave that as a color scheme, okay? This is going to be the color of that wall. That's it. Deal is done. Now, what I want to do here is we're going to, once again, fill this bad boy up, but we're not going to put a window on this one. So we're going to go 3. We're going to put a section of black, right? We got 3, and then we're going to fill it in with black again. Now, I'm just doing that there to create like kind of a geometric shape to get things a little bit more interesting, so it's not one just giant black wall. And now, once again, we're going to go here. We're going to go in on 2 on each side, and we're just going to bring that all the way up solid black. Whoopsies, too much. Oh boy, it's turning out. So now we got this, which means I kind of want to bring this up just so we have an idea of what we're looking at here. So now we have this guy here. Now this is where things get a little bit different because I want this to be one giant bay window. I don't want there to be any white on this one because I want it to kind of have that separation of colors a little bit. Get out of here. All right. And I want this whole thing all the way to the tippity top to be a full glass window. Because what I want to do is, since this is going to be a giant glass window, I would really actually like to, we'll leave the top one because obviously we're going to have to install a roofy roof on this bad boy, which the hard part of that is going to be, do I add like a little trim or an overhang on the roof with a slab of my choice, which I'll probably have to switch to jungle wood, or do we not? Anyways, long story short, we want the second floor to be here, right? So we have this, and we want it to be 1, 2, 3, and then on this fourth one, we're going to build it right there. Because what that's going to do is that's going to, whoopsies, that's going to create so that not only do we have a nice little walk space here, right? This gives us a nice little overhang without being too close, too restricting. But what it also is going to do is it means if we build anything on this top floor, it's going to be at the perfect 1 block height. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this over. We're going to make this more of a kind of a patio kind of second floor because it's not going to come out all the way in any one direction. That's right. It's going to be kind of a free floating room, which means we're gonna have to do some pillar work to make it all look as nice as it possibly can. So what I wanna do here, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this in, right? We're actually probably gonna get rid of that here, but I want this to be definitely filled in there. And then we're gonna, yeah, let's go ahead and leave it black. Can we see that? Nope. Cool. So I did a little bit of a misstep there because we're not able to see the entirety of those. And what I could do is just go black. There we go. Yeah, that looks a lot more nice, a lot more rigid. So we're gonna time set day again. And then what I wanna do here is, since this is going to be kind of its own little area, all right, we're gonna have something like this. We're gonna step this bad boy up. And now we're gonna be creative here. That's right, you guys see it. You guys see it? Isn't that awesome? Right there. That's what we're talking about. And now what I kind of want to do is fill this whole area in and kind of make it a reading nook, so to speak. So we're going to go ahead and go 9 tall on all of these, once again, to replicate the ceiling. Get in there, big boy. All right. And the thing that I find interesting about modern houses is although they're kind of complex in their floor plan and layout because you have to crunch everything together, when it really comes to the overall build, it's a pretty simple idea. It's just a bunch of squares kind of slapped next to each other, right? And I'm gonna get all the hate and all the heat in the comment section down below for all you people who actually are architects and design artists and things like that. And come to find out that modern houses are one of the most complex builds. You know, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But now we have this nice little shape here, and we got a lot of natural light coming in. We've got this nice little reading nook, and people will be up there. And what I'm thinking is I kind of want to put a pillar here. Should we just go for the gusto and have like these clear? Nah, that'd be kind of silly. I really want to try to stick to the whole idea of not using any other like blocks, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because a fence post would look amazing there, especially since we're going to have like this blocked off. And I think what I want to do is block this guy off completely in black, once again, to just replicate that same color texture. All right. Yeah, because it's going to be kind of its own little walkway or area, so to speak. So we have this little section here. And what I want to do is, I think I'm going to try to replicate like the andesite stairs. We're going to do something like this. Not exactly what I was thinking, but we're going to get here. It's not perfect because, well, it just looks a little wonky, but what we can do is bring this up here. We'll bring that down so they can go right up to the window and say, hey, how's it going, buddy? But we got these staircase, right, and it wraps all the way around. And so we are in business for that. I really think we're just gonna have to decide to break our rule. But what we wanna do here is I like having this little color pop. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna just, you know what, Devin? We're just gonna go for the gusto, okay? We're gonna leave everything black. I know after all this hoopla about like, you know, what I want it to look like and everything, and it just doesn't. Yeah, let's leave that one white. Yeah, because we're gonna leave it this tall. I don't want to make it any, actually, is that the right height? It'll be really short up here, but it's just a nice little patio, so we'll make it like that height. All right, I think that's what we're gonna do. And with that in mind, I mean, we're getting real close to the end of this build, which has been a little bit of an adventure for me. Let's go ahead and trim this one up like that, because I think it'll really keep a lot of that color texturing for us. It'll really make that area pop. And maybe what we can do as well, since we're not going to be seeing it, maybe we can leave some of the jungle wood leading up to it, you know? I guess we'll find out in a second, won't we? Once I get this whole topped out. I like the idea of having like the colors like trimmed together like this. Now I wish there was a slightly darker shade, or if there was a couple different shades of like a dark kind of blackish, because you have like a space gray and then you have like a matte black, which I think would look a lot nicer. Yeah, let's jungle with that bad boy. Let's go ahead. You know what? We're gonna be ambitious. We're gonna jungle wood this as well, I think. you know what? We could just make this whole top area jungle wood. And that's how we're gonna break it. All right. So we're gonna break the rule because we're gonna get some jungle wood slabs. But the nice thing to note about this is we're not using multiple like hot bars for the interior. It was only because we took the hot bars for the exterior and the interior and made them all a singular thing. Now I could have quantified the color scheme a little bit better, and I think that would help. But I think it's gonna look pretty nice like this as well. Get up there, big boy. Yeah. We're gonna go out to here. Yeah. I like that. I think keeping that color scheme consistent on the top is gonna go a long ways for making this look a lot more professional. All right, it's a nice little tiny house, you know. Now the question is, do we want to do the jungle or do we want to do spruce? Let's try spruce just to see how the foundation of it looks up against this. This is where things get interesting, right? Because we got that foundation now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that absolutely works. And now we have this like little kind of open concept area, which I'm just gonna go ahead and frame in like this. So it's kind of a open concept little like reading nook area up here, and we got a reading nook down there. Now, there's not a whole lot of place to hide as far as like privacy is concerned, but we have a nice little open concept home here. Now you can kind of furnish this with anything you want, but I think that's gonna do it for this tutorial. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick pass through without the HUD on. And I kind of want to see what it looks like from outside. So you got the nice front view, which has a nice little color contrast there with that block. And you kind of come around here, nice little white contrast. You know what? I think we're actually going to, let's see if I did this right. That's right, I did it. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just frame that in with white rather than have it solid white. And I think we'll leave that square because it creates a little bit more depth on that wall. Just nice and blocky. It's got some white, mostly black, and a little bit of jungle wood. But if you're gonna walk up to this house, you're gonna be like, wow, this is nice and blocky. It fits perfectly for Minecraft. Open it up, you're gonna pop inside. Wow, it's got spruce wood. Hey, spruce pillars. Hey, a reading nook. Hey, we got some jungle wood up there. How do I get up to the tippity top? Oh my gosh, there's a staircase. Boom, we're here. But that's gonna do it for today's tutorial. If you got, get in there, thank you. If you guys liked tutorials like this and you wanted to maybe follow along, or you have an idea of a tutorial you might want me to do, or maybe challenge myself again, like 16 blocks modern house. I didn't unfortunately get the one hotbar achievement, so to speak, but we did do it 16 blocks, and we do have a modern-ish house. So it is what it is, right? Either way, that's going to do it for today's episode. Remember, liking, commenting, subscribing are great tools for you to get in touch with me. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, what you want to see next. Without further ado, I'm going to start my fuzzy little cackle. Thank you guys so much for joining me. As always, feel free to hit that bell notification icon to stay up to date on what we're going to do on this channel. And by the time you guys see this, we're probably going to be on our way back from Texas. What an adventure it's been, both in recording, editing, and driving. I love you guys, and we see you next time. Toodles.